Professor Gajanan Ekbote, Professor Rajendra Dunzar Rao, Professor Chaudhary, and all the distinguished faculty members who are attending this international conference on application of advanced technology for enhancing quality of science education. My dear participants, I wanted to be with you for the inaugural function, but unfortunately this inaugural function and inaugural function of another conference is clashing, which I had committed previously, and I'm not able to be with you in really physically in person. But thanks to the technology, thanks to the advanced technology, I'm able to communicate with you now, right now, through the actual use of advanced technology, through digital recording and through the internet, and this can be put in any medium. If you ask me, what is a major change in education which is occurring for the last 50 years, I would say, this begins really with the invention of transistor, which unleashes the entire electronics revolution in the country. And from electronics, of course, many things come out. And we have already had computers, but the computers are put on a chip. Then comes internet, then comes the web, and this has transformed many things. This has transformed the way humans are evolving one side, and this has transformed education very significantly. Now the question today is that how higher education, and particularly science education, can be enhanced, particularly the process of science education can be enhanced through the technology, particularly use of computers, use of internet, use of web, use of social media, use of mobiles in our learning, complementing the conventional learning, supplementing the conventional learning, and being totally an alternative to the conventional learning. I think this is the issue which we are discussing. Science education, there are tremendous benefits, really, the way we can really change the science education through use of computer technologies. But before that, I would like to say that how education itself can be transformed. Today, education is being transformed using computerization processes, as we know, in learning, in teaching, in laboratory and experimentation, in the process of discovery, in the process of research and explorations, and as well as in the routine processes of administration and governance. If you really look at it, education is a complex process. Education system, if you look at it, the whole thing is a very complex process which involves considerable administration and also the interface with the government, in the its governance, with the policies, the compliances and other things like that. All these processes can be enhanced. All these processes can be enhanced using computers effectively, provided we have integrative plan, a complete integral plan to enhance these processes in every stage of education. Let us come to really the learning process and the teaching process, which is very important, the academic process of this. Science education traditionally has been taught, I think, on the blackboard, with the chalk, and when teachers have been teaching using these standard conventional techniques, and we have, of course, books. Today we have, I think, what can be brought is that always there is a question in science education, is that we don't have great teachers. Everybody cannot be really masters in the field, whether it's physics, whether it's chemistry, whether it's biology, whether it's environmental sciences, ecological sciences, what we cover in science education, both at undergraduate level and then at postgraduate level. Science education can be taught if we can bring the gurus directly in the teaching process. Complementing, I'm not telling the conventional teaching. We can include that kind of thing. Suppose somebody is expert in astronomy, like Professor Nalikar. He's a great professor of astronomy and has done tremendous researches on that. Whether he wants to teach some of the issues in physics and astronomy, he can be brought before the students, explaining particular topic. And he can, like you are recording my lecture today, my thoughts today, you can record his lectures. But these can be annotated when we talk about, suppose, looking at the sky, the telescope, looking at the sky itself. And the sky, as you peep into the sky using modern telescopes or radio telescopes, and I will see a map of my planets, my galaxy, the deep into space, what is there. And that experience can never be brought into classroom by just talking about it. This can be shown by diagrams, or this can be shown by, say, PPTs, but If I can go into the deep into the sky, for example, right from this one, as I'm looking by the naked eye, and then I go beyond what I see, this one going to the galaxies and beyond galaxies and cluster of galaxies, and you see the whole expanding universe beyond that. That experience, I have myself seen that experience, which I never ever imagined without that kind of thing. What I'm trying to say is that we can now model a phenomena, every phenomenon, whether it's the gravity, whether it's these astronomical observations, whether it's some synthesis of compounds, whether it is looking deep into the earth, which we can never see, and we can only talk about it with some diagrams, but we can directly go deep into the crust of the earth and see what is there. You can look at the oceans. What I'm trying to say is that now we have the models of all this, the real world, natural phenomena before us. How does it rain? I can't explain suppose whole cycle of rain. I want to understand from the oceans to the sky, and how the clouds are formed, and how the rains actually occur, how hailstorms occur, all those kind of things. I can show that whole process stage by stage through simulations. So modeling and simulation has become an extremely important phenomena. Of course, I can show the virtual reality of that kind, but I can actually do modeling and simulation. Now, I understand your college is already doing with IIT Bombay some of the experiments. The experiments will actually, the experimental setups, which are very costly, sometimes that can be somewhere else. It can be in IIT Bombay, it can be IIT Delhi, it can be in Institute of Science, it can be in ISER, it can be somewhere deep in MIT. MIT had started a course, and the experiments will be there, but I can from computer, from my software, or from my virtual laboratory, I can play with those experiments and look at that. I give the certain parameters, certain variations, and look at what is happening to this one, and get the feedback that what is happening to the experiment. So this hitherto would have never been possible. This has not been possible hitherto, but now we have access to these tools, and actually people are learning on this. I think this is a great challenge for the teachers, that to understand this. Now I have got new teaching methodologies, I have new learning methodologies, and I can bring my expert teachers, I can bring guidance of experts in the field, and actually go to that. I want to see the North Pole. I can actually go to North Pole and simulate, and I'm experimenting that kind of thing. What is the life in North Pole? This is important in geography, in geology, in astronomy, and of course the standard physics, chemistry, and biology experiments. I feel a tool which has become available, this advanced technology has become available, and there's a really advanced technology behind it, I must say this one. Some of the simulations which are done, some of the games which are in place, some of the laboratory things which are done, this involves supercomputers, actual simulation. We don't require supercomputer access right to the college, but those actual simulations which can be captured then, and then can be put before you, this one. Now, so far, we have been using physical experiments. There is a limitation. The laboratory is limited, apparatus is limited. You come there, and there was the materials which are required, or the energy which may be required to use this one, which may not be available. But this one simulation is available on every desktop, and you can play with it. So most of these softwares can exist somewhere on a cloud something which is now available. These resources can be available on the cloud, which can fetch it, which can, because I can really on my desktops, and I can start playing with it. For example, when supercomputers were designing, now that supercomputer design tools for the circuit designs, which is circuit design actually that software exists somewhere else, on big servers, and people have access to the tools for the PCBs designed, the circuits are being actually designed, whose simulations requires huge computing power. Now these things are available on desktop using lab view kind of instrumentation, using a lot of virtual instrumentation, or MATLABs, or there are several tools in each field, and teachers have been creating these tools. Teachers have been also creating these tools using animations, of course, also using simulations, and they can really use these tools for teaching their individual subjects. So I feel use of advanced technology can complement. I'm saying not that it completely change, but can change the way we have been teaching these subjects, and which were extremely difficult to understand the concepts. For example, I do not understand the concepts really on the blackboard. Sometimes I cannot understand this. That can be actually shown. This is how it occurs. This is what it is. This one through the simulation, and when you start playing with it. In fact, now the games have been designed. Many of the gaming technology, actually games have been designed for understanding scientific concepts. I can actually create new materials. I can create new compounds. in the chemistry simulation by using simulation models, ball and stick models, and which other models which are available. And I can create, and you'll be amazed to see that how actually the drugs are designed, how new compounds are designed, new materials are designed, which students can get an idea, starting from fundamental principles to the complex areas of new innovations. I feel that once we understand this process, and actually this can be done by actually doing it, using, there are so many tools which are available, so many materials which are available, resources which are available, and you can create your own resources for this, and this can be used in our teaching. It is a great challenge for teachers. Perhaps the computer science guys now also have to work with them. Some IT guys, they have to work with them. They how to use these tools, what to be done, which to annotate. And it is here, I think, I have been experimenting on this. First thing, my biggest thing is how these computer tools or IT or information and communication technologies can be used in education process, in learning, teaching, as I said, in our laboratories, in actual experiments, in the real life, showing the real life case studies, and of course in administration and governance. And this can be brought, how it can be brought to schools and our colleges in higher education. This has been one of our missions. Another mission which multiversity we are really doing is that how to bring great experts in the field, that because people have been always talking about that we don't have science to go, means we've got good teachers, they are learning the whole process, but science teaching is also is a great art. It requires a tremendous understanding, and we don't have that right now. But we can bring those teachers to this medium. They can talk to each. They can talk to you. They can have a dialogue with you, and they can challenge you on the this one. They can also test you whether we understood that concept now or not. So we are trying to indeed bring those great gurus through a framework which we have created for this learning. I can get a lot of web resources which we are not able to use. Now this web resources planning requires like a full lot of study, lot of I think preparations if I want to teach a particular subject. And I have experienced this, and students then can themselves, they get so fascinated and they get so engaged, and they themselves can start creating along with the teachers. See, this is now student, teacher, some IT experts, or some who can bring these resources in a very cohesive or very coherent manner before you, and we have a new learning teaching experiences, because we taught digital class, we taught virtual reality, in gaming, and all these things can be used. So I think it's a fascinating world now in the learning teaching. It will take some time, but we will be explored, and that's why the conference like this is required. How many people can teach us, tell us what has been their personal experiences, how this can be done. They can actually play those things, how this is done in their own fields, and of course for the educational governance and for the people who want to lead, like Professor Dhundarao is very interested, Professor Chaudhary may be very interested, some faculty members would be very interested to look at and make a beginning in this direction. I think make a beginning in this process. India has one of the largest scientific and technological manpower emerging from the world now. In engineering, I'm not talking engineering, technology, medicine, of course that is there, but entire largest, this is the world's second largest pool of science and technologies within us now. And very soon we'll surpass the world thing in this field. If we have people who understand and who can be creative enough, and who can do new exploration. And gone are the days that I don't have a laboratory and I don't have this kind of thing, but the laboratory is just in front of you. It is on the smartphone. It can be put into a smartphone, you can learn from this. So this learning is going to be very different. And of course, there is no question of that you have to understand foundations correctly. It's not just technology alone is going to help, but learning the foundation. And one thing which we find is people do not understand the basic concepts, and they remain only for examination we learn. In this process, we can understand the basic concepts taught by great gurus. Also, we are trying to playing with it directly. How did a thing like that? How the gravity really works? What happens to this one kind of thing? How did Newton come out there? Feynman's lectures, for example. What is the structure of the atom, and how does it really things and that models can be created and understood, which you can never understand otherwise. So I wish this conference, advanced technology, use of advanced technology for learning science. Now this is happening all over the world. Can India take lead in this process? Because we have IT infrastructure. We have this open source tools available with us. We can also buy some standard softwares which are required, and this can be used in learning, teaching. And hitherto, I think we can now create what we have never done before. And through which will come innovations. Innovations become really create the economies of the world, and it means really a Google-like invention of a search engine can create wealth for a nation which is equivalent to the entire wealth of the nation itself. We have seen these kind of things, but provided people understand really the science behind the science. So how advanced technology can be used for this will be experienced. And I wish the conference and the students, teachers who are participating for, I think the quality of the science education is become very important. And this can be done also in rural areas. It can be done in any college, provided we understand how to use these tools. But here we can take the help of institutions who are actually working in this area. They can help the teachers how to use these tools initially, and then they can learn on and go on further. How quality of education can be suddenly be made a quantum leap? It cannot be done in incremental process. It will take years. But if you use these technologies, we perhaps can make a quantum leap in science education. I wish the conference all the best. Thank you.